ready when you are.
Yeah, well, I pressed record.
Okay.
Jim.
Right. Well, good to be with you as always.
Yeah, man. Awesome. It's coming up to Christmas, Jim.
It is. How many weeks now?
I don't know, maybe like 3. We're in December. It's December the 3rd.
Gosh. Yeah. That's come around faster than I thought.
And you know what? Like, even, when I'm just on my own for like a few seconds, I'm kind of whistling Christmas tunes, or I've got something in my head, and I don't know where it came from. And it's so what? It's only like, it's in the morning, and I've got dun, 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 dun. That's in my head already.
No.
How is it got in there? I'm brainwashed already into it.
I hate to say it, but I've been doing that for about 2 months now, really. And I won't tell you the songs, but they're well-known ones.
It's Mariah Carey.
No, it wasn't that, but thank you very much. These are some old ones. But yeah, it's just like an awareness of the season changing, and it must just be what happens.
I think I must have got it from the gym this morning. There must have been a Christmas song, that I wasn't aware that it was playing. As soon as I got into work yesterday, there were Christmas songs. And normally in the changing room, it's silence. But now they're blasting out Christmas songs into the changing rooms. And I think it's to prepare us.
Gotta get you in the spirit.
Gotta get us in the spirit, man. And I was like, is there always goddamn music in here?
Well, see, I don't listen to the radio and I don't watch TV. So to me, it must just be, I'm picking it up from all sorts of places.
Like collectively.
But I always get that Shakin' Stevens one. I can't think what it's called. But that's usually the first one that starts to play in my head. Which is quite a catchy tune, but you get that stuck head syndrome with it, and there's no getting away from Christmas.
No, there isn't at all, man. I kind of like it though. There's something. I don't know if I like the thought about Christmas more than once it's happening. It's day-to-day life, isn't it? So it's just normal life, I suppose.
Yeah.
But things change a little bit. But I do like the thought. There's this like a sense of nostalgia. When it gets colder in the year. So it's cold now and everything. I don't know, man. I do like the sense of it. You get people there's that very funny meme, that popular meme where it's like there's 2 people at Christmas and it's like Will Ferrell from The Elf, like yay,
I've seen it.
And then like someone from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, so it begins.
Yeah, I'm always that.
You're so it begins.
I am, but see, I don't particularly like Christmas very much, and I wouldn't say I'm anti-Christmas, but quite a few years ago, my thoughts on it are quite complex, but just really kind of got fed up with it. But there is something nice about like the winter solstice, which I think it's rooted in. That idea, just the changing of the season, and it's going to get colder, we're going to have some snow, and it's a time to celebrate and embrace new things. There's something in that which goes beyond Christmas, but our version of it here is Christmas. So I totally appreciate the cultural beauty of it.
Yeah,
it's just what it's become over the years.
Marketing,
I don't like
scam. That's what it's huge in marketing. So it's just like buy this, and then people have got that pressure.
Yeah.
To purchase. Get the right things for their kids.
Yeah.
What do I need to get? We've got the ideal, boyfriend and girlfriend kind of situation where you need to get her the right present. I don't know if people feel the pressure from that. You don't want to let people down.
Yeah,
we certainly sense that, that feeling of pressure, surely, from Christmas in the ideology.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that really struggle, isn't there?
I bet. It's an expensive time of year. People are putting more overtime.
Yeah.
I think it's more stressful. Certainly for me, like you say, I work in customer services, so I do get I've noticed a lot more customers are stressed because it's just added to it.
Yeah.
They're freaking out a bit more. It's impulse buying. They're walking down the shop and there's a sale and this and that and Black Friday and all this thing. So people are forced into...
Well, just to touch on the last episode, I've always compared Christmas, in my mind, to sex, I suppose. It's everyone's engaged in this massive building up, this huge climax just for one short moment and then it's all over. And I think that's just insane. And that's what people do with Christmas. They plan and plan and plan for weeks, don't they, and months. What are we going to do? Where are we going to go? What decorations are we going to have? And and then people start struggling and some people can't afford it and they get into debt. And I think, oh, for God's sake, And then I still do in some ways, but think very much like a Marxist in that I used to see Christmas as, I think the term was a bread and circus act. I think that came from the Romans, throw the peasants a bit of bread and put on a circus and that'll keep them entertained and take their mind off of what's really going on. And I used to think, and once a year we're all supposed to just fall for that and then get on with, shit.
That is
I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not in cultural bondage, I said to myself. But now I tried to see the good in it as well.
Yeah. I think, there's good and bad sides to it. It's like people getting caught up in the cycle of it, and where, you lose the point. But I think the whole point, and like ideally the good message that you see in Christmas movies, is that bonding. I haven't got like a big family or anything, but it's still, I still like that idea.
If it gets people together.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah. It's just like that spirit of it. When it gets too much, and like that, and that stress builds, and then people just lose track, that's when I suppose it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, the idea, all the jingles and everything like that, I suppose it's all right.
Yeah.
But still, it's early days. It's only the 3rd of December.
Well, I just used to think, I wish we could do that all the time. Why do we just do it once a year? But I suppose that's something, that we're doing it once a year. So I should just see that as progress, perhaps. But you see these campaigns on TV, don't let old people be alone at Christmas, or don't be alone at Christmas. And I think, well, what about the other 364 days of the year? Why are you so concerned about one day?
A puppy's not for Christmas kind of thing.
But it does have real significance to people, and it really saddens them to be alone for that one day. And so I understand it's more painful to be alone on Christmas than other days for them. And I get that. But I just used to think like, well, you think that's just going to make it all okay?
No, I think like if people are feeling alone at Christmas, what about the other days of the year?
Yeah.
So say I was going to be alone this Christmas, which I will be around Christmas. I'll be working a lot. Yeah. Absolutely fine. It's the same as any other time of the year.
I love to be alone at Christmas.
Milestones. Okay, we'll touch on that in a second. Yeah. But like milestones where someone's got like a New Year's resolution. It's like, why wait until the new year?
Yeah.
Why if you got the planning, start planning at the early December, whatever. Yeah. Maybe for January. But just so soon as it's January, why try and change things? And same with Christmas, where people have got milestones. But you said you don't mind being, solo at Christmas.
Not at all. But I mean, I've done it for the last at least 5 years. Yeah, I just got to a certain age and thought I'll get something for my friends' children, my godchildren, and that's nice. Great. I would never sort of take Christmas away from kids because it's magic. It's pure magic, But in terms of everyone else, I say, look, don't get me anything because I'm not going to get you anything. And I usually just stay home, and sometimes in the evening I'd go and get a curry or something because I quite like an Indian when it's cold. And that was a great
But
Christmas
just like a kind of a normal day, I don't want to paint a sad picture here because I could be there one day.
It was a fantastic
You don't have a cracker on your own.
No.
You don't burst the cracker.
I'm not like Mr. Bean. No, it's fine, And somebody will say, well, just pop over. And I'm like, no, because then I'm doing it for Christmas. I'm not doing that. I ain't doing Christmas, man. So.
That's a good point. Come over for Christmas. No, I'll come over in January sometime.
No, they say, well, all right, it's not for Christmas, but just come and have a coffee. And I'm like, no, because then it is for Christmas, and then I'm partaking in it. So maybe it's a bit rebellious, but it's just another day to me, literally.
If it's that fake jolliness, then that's quite sad. Yeah. Where it's like, everyone's jolly and it's the Christmas spirit. Yeah. What happened to this jolly spirit the rest of the year? If we, do you know what I mean? Yeah. If it's, I think it's all right using it, I suppose. But
yeah, can you just smile for one day, for God's sake, please? Just pretend. But no, it's absolutely fine with me, and it saves me a lot of money and a lot of time. And so, let's say there are a few people I'll probably just give a card to this year, and that's just because I can't be bothered to explain my thoughts on Christmas to them. So it's easier just to give them a card rather than have them be offended and then spend all that energy explaining myself to them. It's like,
oh yeah,
just give them a bloody card.
So you said, you've got complex thoughts about that. But man, you're doing better than me. I'm not going to give any cards to anyone.
No?
No. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to do anything.
No.
I'll just be absolutely cool with everybody that I see and, hey buddy, what's going on? Yeah. Just be absolutely normal as I am for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Do you mean I'm not going to be doing anything different? And that's not a conscious choice. It's just like, I just know it's not going to happen. I'm not, fuck, I mean.
Okay. Well, it's been a while since I've given people cards, but there's a few people I would like to, just for various reasons.
It's good that you're doing that.
I mean, I can count them all on one hand. But I say, if you get me a card, it probably just goes straight in the bin. I mean, I'll look at it, but it'll go in the bin.
What about wishing people, like say a lot of people use Messenger, WhatsApp, sort of social media. Do you kind of go in there and be like, hey, happy Christmas, everyone, blah, blah, blah? No. Because I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. Once, I remember, a few years ago, when I was at work, the man from the local radio station was like, "Oh, would you like to come on and wish everybody a Merry Christmas?" I said, "Well, not really, no."
That would have been great, because you could have said yeah, and then gave your true self.
Oh, if it was live, that was a yeah.
Oh, it wasn't live.
No, it wasn't. It was going to be like a pre-recorded message. But I said, well, not really. It's just, I mean, it's a lovely thought. Really, really lovely thought. But what, like, Merry Christmas, everybody from Jim? They're going to be like, what the hell, you know? No, I said, I just feel foolish.
Yeah.
I feel ever so foolish, but it's a lovely thought.
That's not going to change anyone's life, is it? Oh, he's wished me a happy Christmas.
No.
I'm so much better off.
No. So I said, I completely appreciate the community spirit. That's always a good thing. And that's, yeah, I'm not doing that though. And sometimes I do look at people on Christmas and I think, well, I'm glad people don't think like I do about it. Because if it just disappeared, maybe it would be really miserable. So I see it going on and I think, good, humans still have enough blood pumping through their veins and vitality.
Good, God damn it.
Yeah, I want these things to carry on, because when they don't, we're sort of, well, that's just not good, you know. So
people will be depressed all year round, not just over Christmas.
If they did it for the right reasons and gave it up, that would be okay. But if everyone just became really resentful and said, screw Christmas.
Oh, man. But
it'd be like, God, it's just something that people do one day a year to sustain themselves.
Well, say this politically correct world that, you know, we live in right now, not that we're heading towards, maybe it's getting even more PC day by day. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, I remember like reading that maybe Christmas is going to be changed to like a different name. Something to do with like, you know, celebrate the, you know, festivities kind of thing. Because we want to get away from...
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
So that's in the States, right? When I was working on this for an American company, around Christmas time, we weren't allowed to say Christmas. It was all happy holidays. Okay. Celebrate the holidays. Things like that. That's
like a secularization, isn't it? Taking Christ out of it.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of Christians are concerned about. But I mean, I get it. It's not even Christian anyway. It's become Christian, but happy holidays to everybody.
Tell me more. It's not Christian.
Whoever they are. Well, I mean, there are Christians that will defend Christmas, but I used to study with the JWs quite a long time ago, and they had a real hang-up about Christmas in that it was of pagan origins, which I think it is. I don't know the full history of Christmas and where it originated from. I think it was something to do with the winter solstice, but I think it was adopted by Emperor Constantine to make the transformation from paganism to Christianity an easier process. So the JWs, quite rightly, I think, say that if you're gonna be a biblical literalist like they are, which I don't think is wise anyway, but if you're going to do that, come on, man. You know, there's nothing biblical about Christmas.
If you're going to be 100% following a religion, then...
Yeah, Jesus never said to celebrate his birthday. He wasn't born on December 25th. Those types of festivals and holidays are condemned in the Old Testament, to my knowledge.
Well, say like on midnight, I used to go to midnight mass, you know, when I was growing up as a child.
Yeah.
So, and that was Roman Catholic. So I used to go to midnight mass, you know, and that's never any other time of the year. There's never any particular like special event like that, and there will be candle lit and all this stuff, and it's quite exciting. But is that accurate?
No, look, I mean, again, I don't like to talk about what's accurate in biblical terms because there's like 30,000 different denominations just within Christianity, so it's not really clear cut. So I would never want to say, well, this is really biblical and this isn't, and you're a Christian and you're not. But I think with Christmas, I would tend to lean on the side of the Christians that would say there's nothing biblical about Christmas and it should probably be shunned. I mean, I admire their consistency in that regard.
Well, say you said there's, say, maybe 30,000 different denominations of...
Within Christianity. Not sects. There's a difference, but denominations, yeah.
So does that mean no one is really following the true word of the Bible? Is that what you're saying?
Many of them think they are. So like with a denomination, they usually agree on the essentials. But the non-essentials, there's some wiggle room. So for example, the doctrine of the Trinity, or that Jesus resurrected in the same body he was crucified in, those would be essentials. So they would agree on things like that. But things like baptism for infants or something would be a non-essential. They'd say we don't need to divide as brethren over those matters. But when you go into different sects, they that's where the essentials change.
I see.
So like the JWs would not hold to the belief of the Trinity. They would be monotheists.
What about Christmas then?
Sorry, no. I mean, Trinitarians are monotheists. They would be Unitarians rather than Trinitarians. That's what I meant to say. So Christmas, I don't think Christmas wouldn't be an essential. So you could go along to any church you wanted, and some people would say we do Christmas, and others would say we don't. Within Orthodoxy. But a JW, if you were going to become a Jehovah's Witness and still said, I'm going to celebrate Christmas, they'd probably like discipline you or something. They do take that pretty seriously. And again, who decides on the essentials and the non-essentials? I'm just talking from Orthodoxy, but yeah, I always thought, well, fair play to them for being consistent with Christmas. They do present a pretty good case against it. But then I know other Christians who say, look, it's probably, there's nothing biblical about it, but it's a chance and an opportunity to talk about Jesus. So that's a good thing, and we'll take that.
I suppose, any chance, let's go with it.
Fair enough. It's like how literal.
And people have got to be jolly and positive, so they won't say, no, get out of my face.
Yeah.
Won't slam the door, come in.
Good wishes and love, and if you're going to be a liberal Christian, yeah, that makes total sense.
So you don't see that as much anymore, like the nativity scene, cards being passed around like that. It is more about Santa, maybe, and snow and the holiday season. But I mean, the Santa kind of story, I think that's pretty good for kids.
Yeah. So I mean, I've heard that's something to do with Coca-Cola. I've never looked into that, and I always like their adverts. I know I don't watch TV, but I've seen them like.
It's turned into an event now, with the van. I mean, the lorry.
Yeah.
The giant lorry.
But even when I was a kid, I always loved the Coca-Cola advert. It was so.
Is that what then you mean?
Christmassy, wasn't it? And jolly, and you'd feel good.
Yeah. Is that the one you mean with the lorry?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
but I think
iconic.
They've had different themes over the years, but.
God, I hate that Coca-Cola are known for that. Just the big brands being known again.
It really dampens the whole thing, doesn't it? Puts a gloom over it.
I just don't like anything getting too big. No. And when something's already big, it's like, well, it's reached its target. Just leave it alone.
Santa Claus has something to do with Saint Nicholas, isn't it? So, and I presumably be a saint in the Catholic Church. I have to look into him, but it's so exciting to children, isn't it? Santa Claus. I remember going to bed and we would at my dad's house and we'd leave the milk and the biscuits on the windowsill and waking up. Sort of, you wake up different periods throughout the night and think, has he been? No, not yet. And then you wake up a few hours later and you see the presents and you see the little glass with no milk left and crumbs. And I remember picking up the glass and thinking, wow, like the Santa Claus has touched this and drunk out of it. And I said, let's not wash this, Dad, because Santa's touched it.
Put it on eBay.
I believed in Santa until I was 12. Can you believe that? Because I asked my dad, I became suspicious. And I said, look, is Santa real? I was about 11. And he said, yeah, of course he is. And he still says now he believes in Santa, but he believes in like the spirit of it,
Oh.
And I was 12 years old. My friend said, hasn't your dad told you? And I said, no, I've asked him. He has told me he's real. And my dad would not lie to me. He would have told me by now. My mate was like, well, he isn't real. I was like, I knew it. I always suspected it. But he kept it going till I was 12. And that's something. You don't really see that much now.
I don't know. I don't know if it's changed. I mean, it must be so much harder to keep this a secret.
Yeah.
Let alone things like this podcast being on YouTube and us talking about the potential myth of Santa being true or false.
Somebody could be on their way at work with the kid in the car.
Yeah.
Should put a little
turn it off.
Exclaimer on this.
Spoiler
episode.
alert.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe he is. I'm just saying I don't think he is, but he could still be, right?
Definitely he is.
100%. In fact, I sometimes
can't wait.
you look up at night and you do see like a sleigh or something. So
yeah, well, a shooting star. I mean, that's Santa every time.
Yeah,
he's that quick. They could be everywhere.
He's got to be that quick to get around the whole world.
Actually, it's him chasing his reindeers. Every different shooting star is a reindeer, and he's just like looking for him because it's chaos there, and he's on his own.
Yeah,
there's like 50 reindeers.
I remember my
comets.
Well, we lived at this farm when I was a kid, and there were fields all around. And I remember my mum saying, "Yeah, he parked his sleigh in that field right there." I said, how big was it? And she said, oh, it was so big, it nearly took up the whole field, I was just like, that sense of awe,
Yeah.
So
he was just there. It's like a celebrity, man.
But then
he was the first celebrity.
The first celebrity. But then I used to think, wouldn't it be annoying if, like, you don't get the credit for getting your kids those presents? It's like, to little Jimmy from Santa.
You're like, oh, we love Santa.
Yeah.
Get away from me, mummy.
Yeah. So,
well, I remember my dad telling me, I was like, where does Santa live? And he was like, oh, nice. Well, where is he now? I asked something like that, maybe on Christmas Eve. And he was like, oh, he's by Iceland. Or he lives in Iceland.
Oh.
And I used to live on one side of town.
And guess what's coming?
Yeah, on the other side of town was my Auntie Ada.
Yeah.
And Iceland was in the middle.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh, he's close to home then. It's like, so he's already been to Auntie Ada's. Me thinking that Iceland. Being Iceland, the supermarket or the little... Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, he's close. He's at Iceland.
We're not the only one. There was a man, this was a grown man who was about late 40s. And I think my uncle had told him, he said, oh, Iceland have gone into like recession or something, or liquidation, or he actually went in Iceland, like looking for bargains.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So, communication and all that. But,
yeah.
But no, it's Christmas is, there is some joy to it that I do like. When
you're a kid, absolutely, man. I remember worrying. I mean, that goes to show like what I was like as a child. I remember it being Christmas and me worrying because we didn't have a chimney.
Right.
And I was like, how is he going to get in?
Yeah.
There's no chimney because that's the story. He comes down the chimney. I mean, what a mess anyway.
Yeah.
Imagine if he did. He wouldn't be red and white.
No, he wouldn't.
He'd be like the evil Santa, the black Santa.
But he had that special key, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Yeah,
he's got a key. Don't worry, he'll get in.
That's terrifying.
So he was almost like, in my mind, he almost became like he had superpowers to be able to do that, to get around the whole world and to get into houses without chimneys. He was quite a character, and that made him even greater because that he took on like this mysterious supernatural element, as well as just being like a fat guy delivering presents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's kind of magic as well.
I suppose it's like he's always watching, right? So parents use that to children. They probably use it now these days.
Yeah.
Saying like he's always watching. So if you're going to be bad,
if
you're going to be bad, like he's not going to... And you can use that more and more when it comes up to Christmas.
Yeah.
Put that down. If you don't put that down, Santa's not going to deliver your goods.
It's like that elf on a shelf thing, which is creepy, I think.
Would it? Tell me more.
Well, they just it's like an elf that goes on a shelf and apparently it watches the kids to see if they're being good,
But you can attack this elf and blind it.
Well, you could
cover its eyes with like tape.
But I think most kids find it pretty harmless and gimmicky, but it's like, it just sits there looking at it. It looks a bit like Donny Osmond, I think. It's got these big white teeth and these big eyes and it's just watching you to see if you're good, And then it tells Santa, presumably.
So it's in the living room?
It's a way to make kids behave.
Is it like what, in the living room or the bedroom?
They put it on the living room and then they'll sort of like mysteriously move it and go, oh, look, the elf's now sitting over there and the kids are amazed, And then he will convey that information to Santa Claus.
It's quite scary.
But even when they used to say, well, he sees you when you're sleeping and he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. That's almost like God, isn't it? It's kind of like, yeah, he knows.
Yeah, that kind of watchful.
He can see you, And if you are trying to get to sleep as a kid, it's like when someone says, don't be scared of the dog because he can sense fear. And then you end up even more scared of it,
It can read my mind, the dog.
It's kind of like that mentality. It doesn't really make a lot of sense in child psychology.
Oh, so you try not to think negative thoughts because Santa's like reading your mind.
Yeah.
You're like, no, he's in my head.
I gotta sleep because he knows if I'm not. Well, you're not going to get to sleep now, are you? And if the dog can sense your fear, well, don't be scared because then he will bite you. Oh, right. Okay. Try and make that work.
I love that feeling. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know if it's nostalgia more, like the idea of Christmas. Even though I get the feeling now, it's like, coming up to Christmas, yay. And it's that like tearing open presents, as a kid.
Yeah,
I think there's just memories like that. And it's that nostalgia. That'll live forever, I think. That beauty. Just tearing into presents and getting what you want, man. I wanted a Nintendo 64 this one year.
Yeah.
And I remember like praying, please fall out the sky.
Yeah.
Please I need it. I just want it right now.
Wow.
Being like an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew I was getting that for Christmas. So leading up to that, what an exciting time.
Wow.
I think like when Christmas changed massively for me, and as I think as it does for people growing up, is when you get your first job and then now you can buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to rely, you don't have to wait for anything anymore. That's when Christmas changed for me. Say at like 17.
That's really interesting.
And actually, I'll just say just before, I think when I realised maybe Santa wasn't real, is that I found the Christmas card that I wrote to him down the side of like the radio in the kitchen. And
no!
I'd put like and I'd drawn like a star over like the opening bit.
Yeah.
So it would be messed up if it tried to, it was like a.
So you knew it had been opened.
Yeah, but it hadn't been opened.
It hadn't been
and I'd
opened.
got what I wanted. Whatever the hell, it was like a Megazord, Power Rangers Megazord or something like that.
Yeah.
And I found it in February. And I was like, there's my card. And instead of just shouting out, hey, Mum, like, my card's here, I kind of thought, can I just put it back?
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh no.
I think I like it just instantly evolved, like leveled up, like it matured, Became aware of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I just wanted to like touch on my, my story of that. But say when I first started working, 16, 17, and you get your first paychecks, and suddenly Christmas you've got like a few hundred, whatever, and you can start buying whatever you want. That's when Christmas changes, I think, for people, because then it's like your parents still want to buy you stuff. Oh, what do you want for Christmas?
Yeah.
Don't know. Got everything now.
Yeah.
Bought everything I want.
Well, there is things I want, but you would never be able to get it, so I'm not going to say it. But
yeah, what like a.
Oh, I don't know, like a Rolls Royce or something would be nice, but
Yeah, the demands go up.
I think for me, I remember having that feeling when I was I got my first job when I was 13, and like a part-time job. But for a 13-year-old...
Oh, yeah, so did I think,
it was quite good money for a 13-year-old. I worked every day after school and all day Saturday.
I got £13.50 a week.
I got £20 a week working in this butcher's shop. And then when I started doing Saturdays, I would get 45. And that's
great.
That was a lot of money in like 1999.
That's hell of a lot, man, for that age.
Yeah, but then when I was 14, I remember, because I believed Santa till I was 12, but I remember being 14, and that was when Christmas lost that feeling. But my brother was 7 then, and I just remember thinking, it doesn't feel very magical, but it was still exciting, So that would have been a year after having my first job. So maybe that does have something to do with it.
You having your own money and like your own power then.
Yeah.
It's like I can buy things if I want it now.
But I remember wanting the Nintendo. See, I got
64.
I got a Nintendo 64, but I bought that myself because I'd saved up enough money from washing dishes. But when I lived in Canada, so that would have been 94, 95, it would have been Christmas 94. I got a Super Nintendo.
Yes.
And I just can't tell you how excited I was about that.
That's incredible.
Because we had the Nintendo over here, and over there I got the Super Nintendo. And I still remember the box. It had Mario, and he was wearing like this
cape,
a magician's cape, and a hat, and it just
looked... you had it with Super Mario All-Stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely just the best thing since sliced bread.
It had like Super Mario 1, Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3, All-Stars.
All-Stars,
and then the Lost Levels as well, which was the Japanese version of Super Mario 1.
Oh, okay.
Which was incredibly hard.
Okay. It was just such a great theme, and I loved it, and that was such an exciting Christmas, having that.
And
I thought Santa had got me that, and my mum and stepdad must have worked really hard to be able to get me that.
Amazing, I
was like, oh, thanks, Santa.
So that's your most memorable present, you would think?
One of.
So mine is the Nintendo 64, and it's funny and it's amazing, actually. Maybe our generation.
Yeah.
One of our favourite memories, Christmas presents, are both Nintendo related.
That would make sense.
Which is where the Dolphin Podcast name comes from. Little tidbit.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That came into the conversation, didn't it?
Definitely. That's a different pod.
But you do strike me as a Nintendo sort of man, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
You're the right generation. And if I had to say, like, if someone says, are you Ford or Chevrolet or something like that, if someone said, like, are you Nintendo or Sony, I'd be like, yeah, you just seem like a Nintendo kind of guy.
I love that. I
don't know
Nintendo.
why. But, yeah. If I was going to see you with a logo on your t-shirt, it would be Nintendo rather than Sony. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's a different podcast, actually, because I've got strong opinions about Nintendo versus PS4 versus Xbox.
Yeah. I didn't mean to go into it, but there's something.
I can't wait for that podcast, Mac. And actually, I'm gonna get crazy Nintendo mad.
There's something Nintendo about you.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it out one day.
Yeah, when I got my N64, this just goes to show how tribal people are. I was so anti-PlayStation. Yeah. We used to call it the grey station, I think we used to.
Boring grey.
Boring. It's only 32-bit. I didn't even know what that was, but this is 64-bit, and I was just, pathetic.
But you win it.
But I've got a PS4 now, and I love it.
So that's one of your most, no.
Oh,
That's bad,
oh
Jim.
no, I'm sorry.
No, okay, we'll talk about this more.
Okay.
But that's one of your favourite.
It's only because I wanted the VR headset, though. I'll just say that, but go on.
Oh, God. So angry.
That made you even more angry.
Yeah. Well, that's what the next PlayStation is supposed to be tailored towards, the PS5. It's about, like, VR.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know what Nintendo are doing about that, but that's my group.
Well,
so now you're like
I've
a traitor.
Jumped ship.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Get out.
Should have made a VR headset.
No, man, the Switch is incredible. I love it.
Do you know what? If I could have one of each, I would. I'd quite like an Xbox. I barely play games, but once in a while, I like to get a game and play it for a week or two.
These open world games that are on PlayStation and Xbox, I mean, they're fantastic. Yeah. I don't have the time to play them. I'm more like a pick up and play. That's why like I've got Switch. I suppose it suits whatever lifestyle you've got. Open world's just too big, and it's a whole life.
Yeah.
And I had Red Dead Redemption, the new Red Dead Redemption 2.
Looks great.
Yeah, it's an incredible game.
Yeah, well, actually, no, I've seen it at someone's house.
I spent like maybe 50 hours playing on it, and I got like maybe 10% of the storyline through, and I just ended up just living a normal life with him. I would spend every day feeding the horse, taking the horse out, for a walk, coming back, and I would help other people. Yeah. And I was just building up my relationship. I wasn't joining in the story. Yeah. And I was just lying there, living an artificial life through this new character. Because it's so open world and massive.
That's great fun, but when you think about the number of hours you're investing in that,
yeah.
I mean, we are really living comfortable lives to be able to do that, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's like someone in, the depths of Africa, it's like every bloody minute they're trying to like make a fire or get some food or...
Jeez, man.
And we're just like, I'll just spend 50 hours in a virtual world. And, but it's great fun. It's really great fun.
Zelda Nintendo's open world version is the Zelda Breath of the Wild.
On the Switch. Just
magnificent.
Really?
So beautiful.
I love the one on the N64. Ocarina of Time.
Oh, Link, correct, yeah. That's highest rated. It's one of the highest rated games of all time. And like the top 10, I think like 8 of them are all Nintendo.
Yeah.
Of the greatest games of all time. And yeah, Zelda, the first one. I never got further than like say 30% of that game.
Oh, really?
So I'd rent it and then I'd give it back.
Oh.
And then every time I played it, I'd start from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
10 years would go by, I'd play it again,
yeah.
Get to the same point, end up fizzling away until 3 years later I'd try again.
It was great. I used to do that I had a Sega Master System, I think it was. And, no, even on the PlayStation actually. But yeah, and I didn't, on the PlayStation it was my dad's girlfriend's son's, and he didn't have a memory card. So every time I used to play Resident Evil, I'd have to turn it off and start all from the beginning all over again. But I didn't mind because it was such a good game.
Terrifying games, man.
But I get like 2 or 3 hours in, and I've got to turn it off now, and then yeah.
So the old consoles were like that,
and the Master System, Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
But they used to give you codes, didn't they? I mean, some of the older ones like Ataris, or in Tetris, used to have like a code, so like a 10 random like number or digit code, and then you'd put that in at the beginning. And it would take you to where you left off. That was the old way of saving.
Okay. I wasn't very well attuned to these things.
But not every game was like that. We need to get away from games, man.
I know it's becoming a gaming podcast, but ties in with Christmas.
It does.
And also I associate Christmas in part with the Sega Dreamcast because I always wanted one and I never got one. And there's something snowy and wintry about that console that...
You think so?
There is, in my mind.
I mean, I remember, I think I bought a Dreamcast, touching on, like, I didn't get it as a present because I was working then. I think I was 17.
Yeah.
So it was like, I just bought a Dreamcast as soon as it came out, ended up being Sega's last console. I loved it, man.
Just blew me away.
It was the first one that was connected to the internet, and again, like, ahead of their time, but just didn't catch on.
I remember playing it in Egos, I had to pay, like, so much money just to play it for, like, half an hour. And it was... Wow, it was like something from Star Trek,
Like Sonic Adventure on it, like one of the release titles of it was amazing. It took me years to complete that. I
remember thinking, because I never had one, but I used to see it, I don't know, maybe it was in the Nintendo magazine, I don't know why it would be in there, but it was like the better console than I had. And I remember thinking, how can you ever improve on those graphics? I don't see how it's possible. But if you look at it now, it looks outdated. It's still impressive.
So, but you link the Dreamcast to like snow?
Yeah, I just think of Christmas, snow, late 1990s. Like, I don't know if you have this, but different time periods take on a certain feel and even a certain smell sometimes. And so if I think back to sort of 98, 99, it has a feel to it. And if I think to around 2002, 3, there's a feel to that. And it's kind of like, It's like from the abstract world. It's an abstraction of, I can't explain it, but it's so unique to that time period, and it exists in my mind.
I think everyone has that, man.
Yeah.
Mine's linked to, strangely, like wrestling. You know, I'm a big fan of, like, you know, WWE, WWF.
Yeah.
So what was going on during those business decisions or those storylines where it was, you know, changing from an attitude era where it was more violence and like sex related, you know, sort of living on the edge, really like edge, you know, cusp of how the world was changing, you know, Jackass and the attitude was changing, man.
Yeah.
Like culturally.
Jackass, yeah.
Jackass and things like that, just more reality TV based.
That goes into my 2002 sort of nostalgic feeling. Because I just think, yeah, Jackass.
So that's my 98, 99 feeling.
Oh,
where it's like, it's more reality based and, you know, MTV shows were coming up. The Osbournes, whatever the hell it was called.
Yes. 2002 with me, see? That's like the time period.
So, so mine's linked like roughly around there. So I think we do all have those links and different visual.
Isn't it? You know, and I know people think back to times and go, oh, that was good or that was bad, but there's like a very definite feel to certain time periods, and it never goes away, and it's almost like a smell. It comes to you, and it's like instantly takes you back there in that moment, you know?
What does Christmas smell of?
Mistletoe.
What the hell does mistletoe? Mistletoe doesn't smell.
I don't know. Mistletoe and wine. Like mulled wine. Nice though.
Why me for me? Actually, me for me.
Never heard of that.
There's maybe like turkey and stuff like that. Like warmth in the kitchen.
Okay.
Like where the kitchen's too warm. So you step in and all the windows are like steamed up. And it's like they're sweating, I'm sweating, Mum's sweating, the turkey's sweating. You know, it's just, it's too warm, there's Christmas, and it's stressful for whoever the hell's cooking, and it's like, get out of the kitchen! Roast potatoes and things like that, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like that now, you know, older in life.
No.
But I suppose there were a few Christmases where, you know, you're in and out of the kitchen, and, you know, you got some family coming around, things like that.
Poor old grandma slaving away in there all day. And...
Yeah,
I know.
Hey, can I help anyone do anything?
Yeah.
And really, you're just getting in the way if you ask that. Or you can, like, you know, I don't even know anything about cooking, but you can put the plates out. James put the crackers out.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
You've got to get the spare chairs and all that, got to extend the table. There's only a certain times of the year where you do that, and Christmas is like a...
Yeah, it is.
Maybe the only time.
Yeah. I don't know how much variation there would be amongst different people with that. Generally, we probably all think of, like, that sort of stuff, you know. So, it's... I'll try not to be a Scrooge about Christmas.
I don't think you're a Scrooge about Christmas, man.
No.
It didn't come across like that.
No. That's because we're so like-minded, but some people call me a Scrooge. And that's all right.
It's just because it's different. I mean, I suppose there's just the normal way people have about Christmas where, again, it's that fake jolliness. And maybe somebody that isn't joining in, it's like, you know, God, that person's not jolly.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, that's a jolly attitude towards their non-jolliness, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like when people say...
Jolly for one time of the year.
They say smile. It's like, well, I don't want to smile. Just because I'm not smiling doesn't mean I'm not happy.
Yeah, if I'm not smiling, like, you want me to be fake then?
Constantly
you want me
smiling.
to you know, have underlying stress and not let that through. So you want me to be fake.
Yes.
And suppress any like whatever I'm feeling naturally. You want me to suppress it. Okay, that will lead to disease. Fine.
It's all right though, as long as you're all right on Christmas Day. That's all we care about.
Have a happy face.
Yeah.
Be jolly for Christmas.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Just pretend.
So I've got to be.
Pretend, for Christ's sake.
Just fake it.
Just fake it.
Fake it till you make it.
Make it. Yeah.
I'm annoyed with that phrase, man. Fake it till you make it. That means it wasn't an organic rise.
Yeah.
It's like, so you were fake, and now everyone responds to you based on your fakeness, and now you are and then you get to a position where you don't even know who you are anymore.
No.
Because you've been faking it for so long. Yeah. No, be yourself, goddammit.
Yeah. And that entire foundation will just be false, because
yes,
you can't be anyone else other than you.
So you need to be your true self right from the beginning.
Or you'll have to live up to that. And you can't, because it's not you, will it? And if you do start acting like yourself, people are going to go, well, hold on a second. You weren't that person for that time period. So you can't really do that. But anyway, I hope you have a good Christmas.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll see. I wasn't saying about ending.
Maybe we'll have a Christmas dinner. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder, man.
Do you have a Christmas dinner?
No, actually, yeah, I'm going out actually for Christmas. Just with my mother and stepdad. And we're just going to go out just for, you know, a Christmas meal and things like that. And it's quite nice for me, actually, because the gym's going to be closed and work's closed. So that's the only change. And if they were open, I would
be going
to the gym on Christmas Day. I'd be going to work on Christmas Day because whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change anything.
Me and my friend always used to train on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. People would be like, "Oh, you're crazy," because the gym we went to was just like open 24/7. So it's just a day to us. We're gonna go and hit chest today. That's what we're doing.
The thing I used to like about Sundays growing up was that all the shops were closed.
Yeah.
So it was a different day. It was like an exclusive day of the week where it was actually like a day off.
Yeah.
It
had that feel in general because no one could go shopping.
That sense in the air. Well, like, oh my God, everyone's free.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a day off to do whatever they want. But I know, business, and I think the law changed, right? So it's businesses are allowed to be open, people are allowed to work
extend
longer
the hours that they can sell alcohol.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
It has become more and more like that.
But on Christmas, at least that's got that Sunday feeling.
Yeah.
The old school Sunday feeling. Where...
Not a Christmas feeling, but it's now been demoted to a Sunday feeling. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the Sunday feeling's gone, so Christmas is now that. And a lot of people work on it, and Spa's always open if you want some bloody milk or something.
I've worked for the last 6-7 Christmases in a row on Christmas Day. When I was living in this country, I would be working as a cashier and serve about 8 people who came in just to get out of the house, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Just getting milk and the paper, and some bread.
Some cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On cruise ships, man. That's an endless cycle, and that's hell.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine people that work in holiday resorts, things like that.
Yeah.
Christmas and New Year, it's like insanely stressful. Christmas is sometimes, it's either like you're a consumer of Christmas or you're like the manufacturer of Christmas, so you've got to provide what they want to consume. I
always used to think that when I used to work in this training restaurant in college. I used to think, I don't want to be one of the workers, I want to be one of the eaters, But I thought, well, no, everyone can't be a consumer, and that's one of the problems, I suppose. If you're just a billionaire and you don't produce anything, you can just consume.
Yeah.
But everyone can't do that. You need some productivity, don't you?
I do like the sense of Christmas, man.
Yeah. I think now I'm a little bit older, I'm starting to appreciate the beauty in it again. And I think, maybe just, stop being the way I am and see it. They like it. It means something to them. And if it enriches their life, then play a part in that, It's like it might not be your religion or your belief, but look how happy it makes them. And so just maybe go along with it for their sake. Because when a lot of those people aren't there anymore, maybe you'll wish that you had off, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's but I haven't sensed a massive feel of it yet. Actually, I know we talked about the music, but no, maybe that's because I just don't watch the TV. But I'm sure the adverts are everywhere.
Well, it's only yesterday when I just stepped into work for a bit in the change room. I heard the Christmas songs and I was like, "Oh my God!" So it begins.
Yeah, so
going back to that meme.
Yeah.
It wasn't like "Yay!" It was like, "Oh God!" You're just aware of it. You're just a pawn, and it's like the weather. It's just around you. It's going to happen.
But isn't it amazing how captivated by it people are? It becomes all they think about for several weeks. They're just preparing for this day, and they're so excited. Especially women. And I know I don't mean to sound sexist, but it's true. It's one of the great things about women actually is they, give things this real feel of being meaningful. And
well, the only people that I know that are excited about dressing up. Are women.
Yeah, they're always the ones
and they're
that
really looking
do loads
forward
for it, and the men are like, oh, okay then. But they, so many women I know love it, and that's great. But I just think, God, they really, really get into it, and they go out and buy all these decorations and put trees up and things, and that's another thing about people.
You're not gonna get guys doing like I'm a single guy.
No.
I'm obviously not gonna do anything like that.
People say, are you going to put any decorations? Well, of course I'm not. Like, do you really think I'm going to put decorations up in my house?
I would love to. I jogged past your house last night, and I was expecting to see
some lights or something.
Something flashing.
Nope. No. But people are very, ritualistic, aren't they? There's just something in us that likes to engage in festivals and culture. I was watching this stuff on YouTube. I don't know what it was. It was some sort of German festival, and they were all dressed up, and I was thinking, this is so weird. But people just go with it, and I think we are really social animals, aren't we? We love, especially dressing up and any sort of celebration that gets people together and
Which makes
celebrate
sense.
something.
I think that touches on like our core values.
Yeah.
As as a species.
Yeah.
Collectively getting together, and you see it. It's tribal. A fire in the middle, we're all dancing round with the beat of the drums. There's something like raw energy.
Yeah.
Like animalistic about that.
There is like goes back to the winter solstice. Like putting aside the cultural element for a minute. Changing in the seasons, different crops, the animals are going into mating season, it's a time for change and new things, and there is something like fundamental to our nature in that. So that kind of does explain it somewhat, I guess.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
There's a beauty to it as well.
We will never be able to ignore and get around the fact that we are animals and we're linked directly to nature. We're not just like a rare breed or anything.
No.
So whatever feels like organically natural and what gives us that feeling, that collective consciousness again.
Yeah.
It's the way it's supposed to be. We're programmed like that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to have this this group mentality,
It
celebrating.
does.
And I think for some people it's that feeling of like hope. It's or the sense of looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. It's like, there's Christmas,
New things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Like maybe we'll have a baby or something, or move, whatever.
Yeah, you can set milestones. It's like, we'll do that after Christmas.
Yeah.
Or in the new year, I'm going to be a better me, or hit the gym and all this stuff.
Yeah. It does make a lot of sense. It's interesting the different forms it takes around the world, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, it's called holiday season now rather than Christmas.
Yeah. And you can exploit that and commercialize it and make a lot of money from it too.
One day we'll exploit
business, man.
and commercialize Dolphin Podcast, Jim.
We could do that.
I think we should. But for right now, we'll keep it raw, organic.
Yeah.
And
dolphin-like.
Dolphin what?
Dolphin-like.
Dolphin-like, like
raw,
dolphin.
Raw and organic, like a dolphin.
Oh yeah, yes. I see what you mean. I'm checking that sound effect now of the dolphin.
Yes, right here.
Well, I thought you were about to
imitate.
imitate. You were about to imitate. He looked like he was going to.
That is not going to happen.
Well,
I don't know what that would sound like, but it would.
I'd have to practice it.
I'm actually not too bad at impersonations, but dolphin, I don't think I could do that.
I really wanted to give it a go then.
Go for it.
No.
You can always just say it was me. No one's going to know.
Well, we'll just argue about it live.
Perhaps when I go from here, I'll practice it.
Yeah. Master the dolphin sound.
You could probably get really good at it, because our voice boxes are really interesting as humans. The amount of sounds we can impersonate.
One of my friends, he could impersonate a chicken.
Yeah.
Insanely well. Like, it was hilarious.
Wow.
But just so well, like better than that. That's like 5% as good as him.
Yeah, my friend does like a crow really well. Because when we used to work in Safeway, when we were students, we'd be stacking shelves. He'd do it, and I remember the store manager, when they walked past the aisle, and he'd be looking up, thinking that a bird had flown.
Oh, you can mess around
because sometimes a bird would fly in there just randomly, and he used to make these massive like crow screams, and people were just like, "What the hell is that?" But
there's something hilarious that humans can do. We can try and replicate just for our own humour.
Yeah.
We try and replicate another beast around us.
Have you ever done it to like a dog? To see if it thinks it's another dog.
Oh, there's a hilarious little video, man.
Meow, and the dog's looking at you and it's turning its head in that weird way, and you're meowing and it's thinking like, that sounds just like a cat, but you're not a cat.
Yeah.
You're
just trying to mess with its head.
There's
that awesome video when there's this guy just like barking at a dog, and the dog barks back at him, and then he raises like the tone of the bark.
Yeah.
And then the dog goes, "Rrr." It's like it's confused, and he turns its head and sort of like almost frowns and turns, and it's almost like it was outsmarted.
How interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, I've growled at a dog like a bear. just to protect myself, because it was really barking, and I thought, right, I'm going to bark back, but I'm going to do it a lot deeper and a lot louder, and I almost like roared at it and screamed at it, and I was like, back off, you little git,
And did it back off?
Kind of. Yeah, it didn't seem to.
I
don't know.
I think a lot of animals would if you really stood up to them. You're like, "Rah!"
I was like, like in his face, like a proper bear. And I was basically saying like, you want to go, and if it was going to go for me, it was going to go for me. But like,
you were going to put up a fight.
Yeah, I was like, what can you do if an aggressive dog is just doing that to you? It's like, well, maybe roar at it like a bear. That might be one way to do it.
All right. Happy Christmas, Jim.
Happy Christmas, James. Enjoyed it as always.
Dolphin Podcast, man.
Dolphin.
It's the way forward.
Over and out.
Peace, man.